What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight UK, Season 7, Episode 7. This is the episode of the dinner party. So, in the UK version, before they don't have like a big decision day, they have like mini decision days. So, every week, I think it's every week. I don't know, but every week or something, they all get together for a dinner party. And then after the dinner party, they decide if they want to stay together for at least another week. So let's talk about the dinner party first. So everyone's getting ready for the dinner party. PJ says that his friendship with Jess is like this and it's unbreakable. And I'm thinking to myself, y'all just met. Have I even known each other a full week yet? But y'all's friendship is unbreakable. Keisha says that there is no intimacy between her and Kwame. And remember, Keisha, to her, intimacy is important, but Kwame has not given her the green light yet. And Richie, he is still oblivious about the state of his relationship with Lori. He thinks that they are on cloud nine, that the relationship is going so perfectly, whereas Lori is struggling and she has seen a couple of red flags. So when we get to the dinner party, the couples start arriving one by one. As soon as George arrives with April, everybody arrives and then they kind of all, separate and go mingle. And it's usually the girls are with the girls and the guys are with the guys. So George, I guess he's closest to Richie. He makes a beeline to Richie and he tells Richie that on their honeymoon, April kissed a girl in the hot tub. And George is stressed the hell out about this. Not only does he tell Richie about it, he then tells Adrian about it, which is Thomas's husband. And Adrian thinks that maybe, April did this to please George. So Adrian is trying to downplay this kiss, whereas Richie was like feeding into George's paranoia and anxiety about it, because Richie was like, "Oh my God, that was horrible. How could she do that?" Moving on from there, so people or they're mingling, they're whatever, talking, whatever, and with Kwame and Kasia, when they sit down on the couch, Kwame gets up to get a glass of wine for himself, and completely neglects to get anything for Kasia. And Kasia makes a comment about it. She's like, "Oh, so you're not even gonna offer me anything?" And he actually was like, damn right. He was like, "Yeah, damn right, I'm not gonna get you anything." I was like, what is going on here? So Kasia had to get up and get her own drink. George ends up telling Lori about the kiss, Lori being Richie's wife. So George finds Lori and tells Lori about April kissing this girl in the hot tub. And it's like he's just going around telling everybody. And the experts, they're watching all of this from some hidden room somewhere. They're watching everything play out on camera. And the experts are saying that what George is doing, he's kind of like laying down the foundation or laying down the work of having everybody gravitate towards his side. He wants to appear like he was the victim in all of this. And so when the word gets out and people start talking, or if April decides to give her version of the story, people are already on George's side feeling sorry for him because he told quite a few people. And poor April has no idea that the whole entire room is just buzzing about her. Zoe shows up, but she's shows up without Jenna because Jenna ended up getting COVID. Moving on to the actual dinner. So at the head of the table sits Duca and Whitney. And Duca, at the beginning of dinner, he gets up and he gives a toast. And while he's standing up giving a toast, saying something really nice and really sweet about this whole experience, Whitney is sitting down next to him, just rolling her eyes. She has her arms crossed. She's not even looking at him. She's turned away from him, just putting on a whole theatrical show that she's unhappy. She's disgusted. She doesn't want to be there. And everybody notices, right? Because I think they were practically sitting at the head of the table. So All of a sudden, Whitney starts crying, right? She can't take it anymore. She starts crying and she gets up and she leaves. Kasia follows her outside. And Whitney complains about Duca being fake and how everyone seems to have a real genuine connection with their partners, but she feels like she doesn't. And after Kasia talks her off the ledge, they go back inside to the dinner party. Duca does have the decency to ask her if she's okay, but Whitney doesn't give him an answer. This is like a tough experiment for Duca. I don't know how he puts up with this because we have yet to see Whitney crack a smile, have a regular conversation with him. I mean, she has been sour, upset, frustrated the whole entire time. And it comes to a point where you're like, girl, aren't you tired of being so mad? Don't you want to take a break? Don't you want to, stop frowning so much and, deepening the wrinkles around your mouth? Don't you want to just be normal for once? But hey, it's her life. So Thomas pulls April to the side and asks her about the kiss and basically tells her, hey, everybody here is talking about you kissing this girl in the hot tub when you were on your honeymoon. And so April is shocked because she had no idea that George was telling everybody. And April says that it was a game of truth and dare and that she didn't even need to tell him, but, she thought enough about him to tell him that she didn't even have to tell him. She could have, exercised her rights not to not even tell him, and he never would have known. She did him the favor by letting him know what the hell was going on while he was gone. And so she really downplays this kiss, right? And says it was just a game of truth or dare. Now, the whole thing is, I never understood who else was in this hot tub. Was it just George, April, and this other girl, or did the other girl have her partner there with her? Like, what was going on here? Did they meet another couple and they got really, really friendly and then they began playing this game? The whole thing to me is still a little bit confusing. Thomas thinks that only him, Adrian, George, and April know about it because he tells her, he told her that George told Adrian and Adrian told me, and we're the only ones that know about it. But in actuality, Richie knows and Lori knows. So when George sees April and Thomas talking, he decides to go over there and to join into their conversation. So as they're talking, he's trying to figure out exactly what's going on. And Thomas says that he would have reacted in the same way that George reacted if it was him. If his partner had kissed somebody else in a hot tub, he would have reacted just like the way George is. He would have been very much upset about it. And so this makes April cry because she feels like she's being judged now. She thinks that, she's being put under this microscope, and something that was so trivial to her has been blown up and magnified into this huge scandal, and it's like she might as well have been caught in bed with this other chick. So as April is crying, George tries to comfort her. Now all of a sudden he turns into her savior, when as soon as he had arrived at this dinner party, he was throwing her under the bus. And he was driving the damn bus. He could not wait to tell everybody what April did to him on this damn honeymoon. But now that she's crying, and I guess he probably felt some kind of way to see Thomas talking to her initially about it. Now he wants to be the savior. He wants to put his arms around her. He wants to comfort her. So Thomas instead gets in between them and just takes April away. And I'm like, Thomas, aren't you doing a little bit too much? He tells April to come with me. He picks her up or helps her up, and he just whisks her away somewhere. And George is, left sitting there looking like Boo Boo the Fool. George is upset that Thomas made a big deal about it, but I'm thinking to myself, but you're the one that blabbed about it to half the people in this room. It would not have been a big deal, and Thomas would not have known about it if you just would have kept it between you and April. George says that he had mentioned it to Richie, and someone must have overheard it and began spreading this rumor, or spreading this piece of news to everybody else. He must have forgotten that he told Adrian and he told Lori. It wasn't just Richie. So April thought that they were over it, and she feels like, George betrayed her by telling everybody else about this damn kiss. And I just could not believe how George, did all these twists and turns. He was mad at April when they were on their honeymoon, and he made it seem like, after they talked about it, he made it seem like he was okay with it. He was like, okay, I understand. Let's just start all over. But then when they get back to the UK, it's still bothering him. It's still festering within him. And when they go to this damn dinner party, he starts blabbing about it, victimizing himself. And then he wants to be the hero to comfort April. And it's like, okay, what are we doing? What lane are we in? Are we mad at April or are we not mad at April? Are we over the kiss or are we not over the kiss? Like, what the hell are we doing here, George? So we'll see how it all works out. Thank you so much for joining me in this review. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you like this content, go ahead and subscribe, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.